Hi, I am Leo, and this is Pandas Pub Tricks. Today I want to show you how it's possible to speed up some operations by one order of magnitude or even more with very little work. I'm going to use Python version 3.7 and Pandas version 0.25. If you're not familiar with Pandas, it's an awesome Python library that helps read and manipulate data. When I started doing data science almost 10 years ago, there was no Pandas, and I can tell you it was no fun. Let's get started. First of all, we need to import Pandas and we need to load some data. In this case, I choose the iris dataset as an example. Now I'm loading the data in a data frame, which will have a very handy table representation. We can see that we have 4 numerical columns and only one column contains strings. Now let's say we want to summarize our numerical values using standard deviation. We are lucky because Pandas provides some very handy APIs to do so. So if we want the standard deviation, we type irisdf.std, which is not a medical term. And we have our results. For each numerical column, we'll have one value. Sounds very easy, right? Of course, there's no value for strings because in this case, it doesn't make sense to calculate the standard deviation for strings. We can also see that std accepts an interesting argument, numeric only. We don't have any information on non-numerical data anyway, so we can give it a go. The results are the same, but the computation is faster using numeric only. Now, we didn't really benchmark these values because you can see every time I run a cell, it will change the time that it takes to compute. So to have a more reliable reading, we'll use the time it magic. The time it magic will run the cell for 7 runs, 1,000 loops each. So we can see some more statistics about it, how much time it took on average and the standard deviation on the run. So the first one took 2.13 milliseconds on average, and then the second one, it took only 286 picoseconds. So it's not really one order of magnitude, but it's almost one order of magnitude faster. But why is that? That's because how Pandas stores the data. All columns with numerical values are stored in an numpy ndarray. In this case, it's called FloatBlock. The numpy arrays are using C structure under hood that use contiguous memory blocks. That makes computation extremely fast, but also introduce some constraints. On the other hand, strings are stored in an object column, which is much more flexible, but also much more computationally expensive to use. An object can store even different data types in the same column because each memory block is not necessarily close to each other. When we tell the function that we only care about numerical values, we don't have the overhead of checking the object block, and this is why it's so much faster. One question you might ask is why the std method would ever want to check the object block, and why do we even need a numeric only parameter? If you think you know the answer, please leave it in the comments. And it's something we're going to explore in the next video. If you have any questions or anything you want to share, please leave a comment, click on the like button if you liked the video, and subscribe if you want to see more data science content. And see you next time. Have a good one.